from the Base Trade TV Star League. It's a best of 5 between Rogue and Cure. Rogue, the GSL champion, and Cure, the contender. And if you want replays like this, you can subscribe to Base Trade TV, and they send them out after every day to do with as you will. And what I will do is cast them after the fact. This just happened today. I think it happened today. I don't know. I didn't watch the games. I'm going to watch them right now. In the top left, it is the GSL Code S Terran player, Cure. And it is the Blizzcon Champion of 2017. How hard was that? That wasn't that hard. All right, can we start over? It is Rogue. In the ZVT. Now, things have changed since then. Things have changed. And by that I mean, a lot of Terran players nowadays are going more for mech. Now, will we see it? There's still plenty of bio out there. Because Zerg wasn't changed much in a way that affects TVZ openers, but what the fuck? Rogue! Going absolutely rogue and expanding to Cure's third. Alright. So, this is, he did go hatch first. Rogue has gone hatch first. Usually you do not go hatch first in your opponent's third base. You don't usually do that. But, it's Rogue. He is, by every measure, the best Zerg in the world, right? And Sue, of course, takes second. But if anyone has an idea of what they want to do, it's Rogue. And sometimes Rogue says the best idea is no idea at all.
I deserve.
Cast PLS was off at the start.
That'll be a bit. That'll be after the best of 5. Thank you. But are we gonna have Zergling speak? Because he didn't get a second guess, so this isn't for quick Ravagers here. Is this actually a Spinecrawler push? Okay, he's got a Roach Warren on the way. I mean, I guess you can go for Ravagers with this. But what is the point of building the base here, is the question. Does he just get those Lings out at a timing? Right off the bat? Is this just a Roachling all in? Like, he's not spending his gas. He would have spent his gas on speed, so this is going to be Roaches. It's not going to be Ravagers. Or it's going to be very few Ravagers, but these Lings are going to show up in an awkward timing. But there are 2 Marines out of Cure. He didn't go for a Reaper first. If he had gone for a Reaper first, there's a chance his command center gets delayed. Because the Reaper's probably across the map in that scenario because he did an SCV scout. So in this case, Cure's going to get his CC up, and that's a big win. And right now, Rogue has not shown that. Well, okay, wait. All right. He's gonna keep the SCV. He's gonna keep the CC. These are big wins here. And there's no speed on the way, so this isn't great for Rogue. Is there enough gas for Ravagers yet? A single Hellion comes out. A Cyclone. I think Cure has a very good idea of what's happening here. He hasn't gotten any vision, but those Lings came in from an odd angle. He knows that it's very odd to have Lings there at all in that timing. So we have a Cyclone and a Hellion on the way. Attack Lab, this is going to be for a Banshee. Now the Roaches and Ravagers will break through. He needs the Cyclones to be able to deal with this. The first one is on the way. The reactor is going to be taken out. Is that a Queen? There's a Queen to support this. The kicker you don't usually see with these attacks. You rarely see a Queen. But the Queen can actually shoot at the Banshee as well. If he ends up making one. He doesn't have the gas quite yet. The command center is going to scout. He actually has 2 Queens. And he's creeping forward. This attack is continuing to move forward. Will Cure be able to hold on? A Banshee's on the way, but now with 2 Queens, there is not enough gas for Cloak. The command center is being driven away from its homeland. He's driving a wedge between the bases of Cure. There's the Cloak on the way. Behind this, Rogue has not expanded. He's doubling down. He's trying to get those corrosive biles off. He doesn't use them on the reactor. All right, there's a couple more. But Rogue, he only has 21 drones. There is no transitioning from this easily. He needs to do damage. Ideally, he could kill some SCVs. He still can't go up that ramp, but he does still have the queens. The queen's caught out of position. He can't be losing those. One transfuse is used, but the high ground is no longer there. He needs to be able to see that reactor. Unfortunately, it did not go down, and the SCVs continue to repair it, which is the backbone of Cure's defense. The Banshee has completed. It's still holding in the main base. Without the cloak, it can be too easily taken down by the queens. Is there a spore crawler? He does not have any spores, but he's building drones at his opponent's third. He's now creeped up almost everything. The reactor is not quite going to fall, but he can finish it off if he just had the motivation. The queens are taking down the command center. The reactor will burn, actually, the factory itself. Almost taken out. But he's holding on to the Banshees. He's holding for the last possible second. Corrosive biles are used as Rogue. Is he actually... He's mining from his opponent's third. He has transferred drones to his opponent's third. He has spore crawlers on the way. I think he got an inkling. I think the Overlord got close enough. And the Cloak Banshee gonna go for the queens. He has some transfuses, and he's about to have a spore. Just in time. Everything comes down the ramp. He has nothing... Well, he has a couple scans to clear the creep, and he should be able to do so rather quickly. And now Rogue is caught in no man's land. He's out at his opponent's third. Cure has the workers 31 to 31, but if this base goes down, Rogue has to hold his base at his opponent's third right now. That's what he has to do. That is the situation. The Banshees continuing to slide around. They have a lot of damage output. And he's cornering the Ravagers. A transfuse comes out at the last second. Those Ravagers are very expensive. One goes down. The base is being targeted. Brought into the orange. One Banshee falls a little bit too close. The corrosive biles come out. The Queen's being targeted down, but transfuse at the last second. Are the Cyclones just too much? More Roaches are on the way. He's trying to hold on until that last possible second, but the Roaches... Oh, the corrosive biles need to land just barely on top of that Hellion. Even the drones are fighting. This is looking desperate for Rogue. GG. As he will go down. And it will be 1-0 for Cure. So that's just game number 1 of a best of 5. You throw it out there. You do something crazy. You can't blame him for that. Let's go into game number 2. That will be on Blackpink. But game number 1, you do something crazy. Okay? And it almost looked like it might work. He didn't focus, I think, enough on the reactor. He didn't try to push up the ramp. And eventually, it ended up being enough, and Cure held on. He didn't panic. He didn't pull SCVs until he needed to. He gave up some depots, and he eventually held. I emailed you them labeled. I used a professional tip. I sorted by time modified, so the matches will always be in order. So I know which match comes after which match. Alright. In the bottom left. Well, you know the names. It's not hard. Figure it out. It will not be... It will just be a 1-Rax expand and then Rogue. Now, my personal... my personal worst matchup is ZVT. As Zerg, especially. Maybe not overall, but as Zerg. I always struggle now. A lot of that is because, personally... I don't have the mechanics of someone like Rogue. I don't have the ability to produce enough units to hit every inject, creep spread, drones, not get supply blocked. But there are some stylistic things like, what do you do if your opponent's opening up with mech? That you can learn from players like Rogue. And despite the fact he didn't quite nail him in game number 1, I'd still say this is an uphill battle for Cure. I'd say taking more than 1 game off Rogue is already an accomplishment. Let's see if he can double down. But Cure is going for a Marine first. This means he will be able to get his factory quicker. And not opting for the Reaper. Now, something to point out on Blackpink. This will be changed soon, as of when this was casted, if this ends up anywhere but live. Blackpink will be adding a Reaper Cliff, which will allow Reapers to scout. But otherwise, the only place the Reaper can go is directly up the front. There's no alternative path. So that means going for Reapers at all, which Cure didn't even do in the last game, is maybe not worth it. it slows down your factory, and it's not really that likely to get scouting information anyways, and it's not like the Reaper's getting in there and killing drones. That's not how it works. Alright. We do have a quick third, 220, 230 it's going to be. Rogue has pulled out a gas and is getting the metabolic boost. 6 Zerglings here to start. Make sure you can deal with anything. This drone is actually hidden back here. A little bit of a pro move, because he knows if a Reaper comes out, it's likely to be looking for that quick third and try to deny it. Because if you don't have Zergling speed, that Reaper, when well microed, can deny your third base. So Rogue sent out the drone a little early. He didn't quite have the money yet, but he hit it in the corner because the Reaper doesn't usually go look in the very corners, right? You don't really have time for that. So he's able to get the base up safely. Of course, there is no Reaper, but Rogue doesn't know that for sure. Wow, this Overlord scouted all the way down for Rogue and will be sliding in from a very sneaky pathing, making sure the Marines can't find him. Looks like he's adapting to his opponent a little bit there. He's actually sent his Overlord. He's kept a couple close to the chest here. He has vision of whether Hellions or Reapers or anything like that comes up. And then a single Overlord has taken a very conservative pathing around the corner. But there is a Marine already in place, and there's no Overlord speed on the way to get past. Alright. A Zergling will scout in, see the Hellions, and actually get away. This Overlord will see the Marine and decide to hold back. He's already gotten the vision of the Hellions. He thinks he has an idea of what he's dealing with. But I doubt he knows there's a Cyclone and 3 Marines coming across in a medevac. That's definitely something different. But this does mean the Overlord will get in. And it will see Cloak being researched and potentially a Banshee in production. This is such an odd attack. 3 Marines and a Cyclone. And these Queens don't have transfuse. He actually can just target down Overlords. This is an Overlord killing medevac, isn't it? It seems like it is. And the Hellions even joining up. The Overlord in play. He will be able to see. Oh, the Zergling's trying to get this around, but the pickup is there. He tries to target down the medevac. The Cyclone going to be left behind. He gets the pickup at the last second. Next to no HP on that clone. He takes it all down and beautiful micro out of Cure. Playing at 350 actions per minute and showing it off. Somehow gets the Cyclone, the medevacs, the Hellions, all out of there. And kills all the Zerglings. That was looking really bad for a second. You lose the medevac and the Cyclone, and that's a big investment. Now the Overlord will still see Cloak about to complete. He has an idea. He knows there's no tech lab on the barracks. This more than likely indicates mech. So roaches are on the way as possibly a counter for a Hellbat. A Hellbat Banshee push. He already has roach speed coming up. The Cloak Banshee will come in. Rogue not really respecting it. He doesn't really have detection. I take that back. I'm an idiot. The Overseer comes up, and down goes the Banshee. Thank you, Legomorph. A scan into the main as well. He's dropping creep with this Overlord. There's actually nothing to kill the Overlord that's dropping creep in his main. Wow. And he can't actually build on that tech lab. Because there's creep dropped all over it. But the Hellbat push is coming up. There's a fully repaired Cyclone. But Roaches and Ravagers should be here to repel. A good timing with a solid amount of units to put pressure on before he gets his third. But, I mean, he's just stepping forward. He does have the Banshee to add a little bit of damage in. The Hellions, well, the Hellbats are going to go for the third base. Look for the roast. And going to find it. That's 4 or 5 drones. And counting. The rest of the units are going to be cleaned up. The Zergling counterattack is going to be shut down. So, 8 drones have gone down so far. That number is not going to end there. 10, 11. It's starting to get dicey. We'll kill the medevac. All these units went down. The thing is for Cure here, killing drones, usually you want to set up for a follow-up. The problem right now is that he killed these drones, but at a timing when Rogue doesn't really care. Because he knows he has the Roaches and Ravagers to go across the map. He knows there are no more threats to his economy. He knows that Cure hasn't built up his infrastructure. He hasn't added on his factories yet. So he knows there's not going to be enough units to easily take this third. And right now, Cure has to play defense. So he threw his army away for drones that are just going to be replaced. And he gave up the opportunity to take his third. So Cure traded out to try to get damage done. But Rogue handled it beautifully. And he knows right now he can take a fourth. He can get his infestation pit. He can get his upgrades. He can get his drone count back up to 70. That fourth base should be taken right now. And he's completely fine. He's taken map control. And I would say Cure, in giving away that army, has made a little bit of a mistake. Now, it's not like, oh my god, Cure can't win from here. He does have the +1, but Swarm Hosts are on the way. And the best defense against Swarm Hosts is a good offense. You want those Locust Waves happening on his side of the map. You want him playing defensively. You don't want his creep to be stretching towards you. You don't want to have Locusts flying into your main, into your third, and picking off tanks and SCVs. But that's what's about to happen. But some good double Liberator sieges. He timed it out well. So that way Rogue wasn't quite paying attention. Gets a few kills over here with the Lib. And Cure does have his production online. It's just another minute, and he'll have everything pumped up if the Swarm Hosts don't start harassing. Then Cure is going to be in a good position to maybe start pressuring. And as soon as he sees the Swarm Host, he knows what he needs to do. 22 workers have been killed, leaving Rogue with 65 against 77 SCVs. But the only thing that's going poorly, well, not poorly, but the only thing that could be better for Rogue, he hasn't started his hive yet. That's the big one. Once he starts his hive, he's going to be looking to be in a comfortable position. But here come the first Locust Waves. There are no sensor towers to see it coming. He will drop them down. There are tanks here. There's a single turret. Will take out a tank. Nothing major. He mitigates the damage. 5 SCVs go down. 7. I take it back. Thank you, Ken. But still no hive. As the Locusts come in to try to deal with the Hellion run by. No blue flame. Maybe a bit of an oversight. No blue flame, no smart servos yet on this mech army. So those are pretty cheap upgrades. He really should be investing in them. Cure does have the money. I'm not sure what he's waiting for on that. There's the blue flame. And we should be seeing the smart servos in just a second. He's microing his Hellions. They will get taken out. The smart servos allows you to transform those Thors and Hellions and Vikings much quicker, of course. Mostly for the Hellions in this case, but there we go. The Spire should be followed by a hive. Rogue, where is your hive? Listen to me. Can't you hear me? I'm not sure what he's waiting for on that, but the Locusts are coming through. He will try to bring the Roach Ravager in. A good Locust Wave takes out several tanks. He splits it really well. That's what Rogue was microing. But Cure, he still has 70 SCVs. He's going to have plenty of command centers. He has good production. There's the hive. And he's holding strongly. So I think a little bit of a mistake out of Rogue. This hive could have started before he started putting any pressure on. He had the money. He has the income. But now Cure is looking at an opportunity to max out with 2-1. He's going to have 4 bases. He's going to have a good economy. The Swarm Hosts are not really doing enough. It's getting to the point where Cure can actually start to move out. So that's the danger here. Now, of course, he has to mitigate these Locust Waves. If they're microed well, he can take out a lot of tanks. But they can also do almost nothing. He gets in front of them. The Hellbats will chew through them. Maybe 1 tank taken out and a few Hellbats easily replaced. But the army swings in at the same time. This base will not be targeted down. He'll lift it. Corrosive Bile will slap onto a Viking, but no real long-term damage there. Now, another big thing, no Ravens. No Ravens for repair drone. Or detection to clear out creep. Not that that's a huge deal. No +3. We got 37 Banelings in classic Rogue style. He has Baneling speed. He's just going to try to bash through these armies. He knows how many Hellbats are on the field. 19 is the number. And by the time you get close enough with the Banelings, it doesn't matter how much damage the Hellbats do because they're splashing all over everything. The tanks will unsiege. He's going to unsiege everything to deal with this. Wait, well, actually, the Locust on a pilgrimage. He will drop down, immediately killed, but at the same time, there's a drop in the main. I didn't even realize this. Bad casting. But the Overlords will get into the main. It looks like most of the SCVs were evacuated over to the corner. He will kill the refineries. At the same time, Roaches, Lings, and Banes will roll through. He goes into the mineral line. Rogue just finding opportunities everywhere. 9 more SCVs go down. Almost gets the command center as a kicker. And suddenly Cure is showing weakness on every side. I take it all back. He doesn't need a hive when he has lair tech all over the place. The Overlord drops into the main. The Swarm Host at the front. And the Roachling Bane over to the right side. But Cure, 56 SCVs. This is a dangerous Locust wave, though, coming in. And Rogue is microing it. He drops it down. A lot of Hellbats are going to go down. He will be able to roast through it. Cure not losing too much besides the mineral-heavy Hellbats. The hive is on the way. Smart Servo is finally being researched. Those could have helped out in these engagements so far. Another round of Banes, as he refuses to use his hive tech for anything but upgrades. We have double Spire. He's banking up for that huge Muta switch. We've got 1,200 gas in the bank. He's ready for the 1-2 punch. When he finally forces him into just tanks and just Hellbats, suddenly the flock of death will come across the map. The Banelings roll into the front. The Hellbats are on the creep, and they will be obliterated. There are not enough to deal with the Lings behind. More tanks are ripped away. Gonna be caught in the middle. The Swarm Host will move up to the north, and Rogue is making mincemeat of this Terran. Another wave of Locusts are going to be going towards the planetary if he micros them well. Roaches and Lings trying to move up the center. Rogue, of course, lost a lot of units in that exchange. The Locusts are going to try to drop on the tanks. It looks like they will get all of them. Beautiful Locust drop. The swoop sweeps away all 3 tanks. And Cure is bleeding from multiple wounds. He's still at 71 SCVs because he's making 5 at a time. 11 Mutas are coming up. There's not a single Thor. There are only 6 Vikings. They have no attack upgrades, and they only have... Well, they're about to have +2 armor. But Rogue, just everything that's a Ling, a Lisk, and a Locust. That's all he wants to build. He's going to have +3 attack Locusts very soon. A handful of Hellbats moving forward. Maybe a bit of an overreaction with these Locusts. Yeah, a bit of a waste of a Locust wave, but... Here come the Mutas. A Thor enters production for the first time this game. GG. And Cure cannot withstand the constant pressure of the Swarm. He will be taken out, and it's 1-1. The Blizzcon Champion will even it up. As we go into Abyssal Reef for Game 3. Alright. Rogue making it look pretty easy last game. The demonstration on how to just batter down a mech player. We're on Abyssal Reef, though. If Cure wants to go for that mech style, if he's able to get even an even start, even an even start, this is a map where you can take 4, even 5 bases, and it's pretty difficult for a Zerg to contest. If he's able to get maybe some Hellions in, or pressure a 3rd, or Cloak Banshee, or Liberator, and he opens up that opportunity to get 3 bases safely, that can really snowball for a mech player. Now the same can be said. Rogue is a master host, and by that I mean Swarm Host. As you could see in that last game, almost every Locust wave being effective. If not doing damage, at least keeping Cure in a certain location, keeping him pinned back up against a wall, so Rogue can slap him up against it with Lings and Banes and Roaches and Mutas. We'll have to see in game number 3. Alright. Nothing. Oh, actually Rogue going for a pull first with gas already. So, is this for quick Zergling speed? Is he going to try to put pressure on? But Rogue definitely doing something a little different. This Overlord taking a very safe pathing once again. He doesn't feel like losing any. Now, I wouldn't take notes from this. If I'm a Terran player or a Zerg player, I wouldn't be like, this is how I should move my Overlords. Rogue is doing this very specifically because of the build he's doing and because he's playing to his opponent. I don't think sending your overlords in a place they're almost never going to see anything early is necessarily the best call. Alright, Rogue sneaks out with the Zerglings, intentionally avoiding the potential pathing of a Reaper. The Reaper will be scouted. That will allow Rogue to realize that he can move these Zerglings in. Will he get there before the command center completes? Will he be able to delay it? Because if he is, that could be dicey. Oh! The Reaper scouted the hatchery timing. That should have been done by now, since it isn't. The Reaper comes back to defend. But Rogue has already split off because he knows the Reaper knows what he's up to. So he's going to have this Zergling speed. Maybe he could have got some cheeky damage done. It's also good defensively against things like Reapers. It's just a very safe opener. He's already shown he can, not easily, but very convincingly take a longer macro match, even after taking some damage early. So why not just make sure you don't get cheesed out, you don't get proxy 2 racks, 3 racks Reapered, I don't know, maybe quick Hellions, anything like that. Get the speed, play it safe, and get to a solid economy. Alright, the Overlord trying to sneak in. The Marine knows what's up. Just did not buy that new fancy upgrade for his rifle. So he can't shoot at it. And from Cure, we see he's actually just building a reactor. It is going to be Bile this time around. And Rogue looks like he's going to be able to scout that. He sees the 3rd command center. He sees the 2nd barracks. He clicked on it. And that gives him all the information he needs. He knows there's no second guess. This means you're not going to have heavy tech. You're not going to have quick starport or banshees or anything. He sees the 3rd command center, which reinforces that first idea. He sees the stim on the way, which makes him know it's bio, and he sees another barracks, which means we should see drones and upgrades for the next minute and a half, because there's really no way that Cure can do anything to Rogue. The Reaper gets into the main. I don't believe it got any kills. No kills so far. Rogue gets the Reaper as first blood. But now, he'll make 8 more links. Will he make any more than that, is the question. Is he actually planning on pressuring, or are these just in case he walks across the map with combat shields? I'm not sure. But we got +1 Carapace on the way. +1 melee attack follows it up. A lair should be next after this. The choice of the lair in the main or the natural will be interesting as well. I guess he's just going to make it in his main. Do it. Do it. There you go. All right. And we do have the starport on the way, but Rogue knows, and he's actually about to get a perfect scout. The Overlord comes in again, sees the starport landing, sees the first medevacs on the way. He can time out. About a minute from now, medevacs can be across the map and do some damage. So Lings are in production. He does have creep spread. He's up to 6 queens, so 3 creep spread queens here. He's actually making some more drones as well, getting a little greedy. We're up at 57, going up towards 63 before anything else. Cure better have a response to this because his upgrades are slower. His opponent is at a huge economy. He's getting a lot of creep spread, a lot of map vision and control. And Cure knows. Cure knows that Rogue knows. These players are way, way, way too good to be like, did you see those Marines with that Overlord? Of course he saw them. So might as well take out the Overlord, get on the edge of the creep. This is just to keep Rogue honest. Cure knows that Rogue is going to have plenty of units and he should be able to defend this. Oh, he gets a cancel. But if he's a little greedy, he makes a few too many drones, makes a hatchery a little bit too quick, well, guess what? That 4th base is going to be delayed, that creep spread going to be cut down. Stim Marines are incredibly good, and 1-1 is not yet done for Rogue. So Cure getting a good drop-off, killing Overlords, killing Creep, killing a 4th. You're a very happy man. That's the best you can expect. Rogue immediately with the 2-2. The Creep continuing. He will wait till that last second, pick up and go. All 16 Marines will be evacuated. that creep spread just so important to continue replenishing. That's what allows the Zerg player to move around so quickly, keep vision of these drops, because a lot of players don't go for Mutalisks to chase down Medivacs, and Hydralisks, which I don't believe he has a Hydralisk den even, can't chase down Medivacs very easily. So the creep spread allows you to get vision and prepare your units into position before these drops do damage. And that's why it's so important, 1, for Cure to deny as much as possible, and 2, for Rogue to keep up on the constant struggle. You can kind of tell who's winning a game. If the creep spread is on the Zerg's half of the map, then it's about even. If the creep spread is back to their bases, the Terran is winning. The opposite is true. Well, Cure. But what happened? Cure just deciding to eat those marine losses. I'm not entirely sure why he didn't pick up and get out. I'm not sure what he was doing. I mean, he'll still maintain a solid supply, but losing 10... I mean, he killed a few drones, but losing like 10, 12 marines there for a few banelings. I don't know about that call. Alright, 13 Hydras on the way, but muscular augments haven't yet been researched. So, a little bit of a mistake out of Rogue there. Maybe not realizing it didn't start right as this drop came in. Another drop to the front, just to kill Overlords, kill Creep. Gets the active tumors that will require the Queens to respread. But just a single drop on either side, trying to keep that pressure on, the back and forth. He did lose a few units, but he has plenty of production. We're at 5 racks in the main. We're going to 2 factories for tanks. He's getting +1 mechanical weapons, so those tanks hit harder. And the 4th base is on the way. And this is a pretty tough position to crack here for Rogue if he wants to go for it. He's finishing 2-2, but he's supply blocked. A few Marines caught out. If he sees the 2-2 Cure, definitely shouldn't be engaging. That means the Ling Bane actually going to be effective. If the upgrades are even, you have to have a good angle, ideally on Creep. If the upgrades are in favor for the Zerg, he can engage off of Creep still pretty cost-effectively. That's kind of the decision there. A drop into the back will drag all these units back. He will split off just enough to deal with it. Great positioning. The drop will fall, but this drags Rogue all the way back and allows Cure to move up to the front. Now, 2-2 is not done, and he's stepping up onto Creep. That's very dangerous. Only a handful of tanks, not an overwhelming number. How many banelings do we have? 17. Once again, not an overwhelming number. We've got 2-2, 20 seconds out. He's in a precarious position here. The Creep is starting to recede, though. The tanks have finished +1 weapons. Cure at a lot of supply, and he's finished a 4th with a planetary on the way. If that 2-2 is done, here come the Lings and the Banes. Rogue stepping for an angle, but every second brings us closer to 2-2. There it is, 3 seconds on the clock. Rogue just waiting for more Lings. Muscular Augments is not done for those Hydras. That mistake we were talking about earlier, that delay on the Muscular Augments, that's what he's waiting for there. He needs that. More Banes. Now, he isn't touching the hatch yet. The Creep is gone, but he's not threatening the bases quite yet. Another base is being built, but Cure maxed out on 200 supply. Here comes Rogue. Lings and Banes, he's come through the back as well. Flanked from either side. The Marines are trying to stand tall, but the tanks have been ripped down. More Marines coming up. The Liberators show up to a party they wish they were never invited to. The Marines are forced into retreat. Cure still has plenty of supply, but he's forced off Rogue's side of the map to the other side. He's working on the Creep here. Tanks will still hold the line. He cuts this off with the Liberators. All right. Now Cure will start his 3-3. Rogue is now finishing his Hive. Will he start his 3-3 right off the bat, or will we see some Ultralisk Cavern or other Hive tech? We'll have to find out. Cure making sure he needs to keep on the edge of the Creep. He has to give ground, but he can't give too much. Because if you give Rogue an inch, and he'll take a mile. There's 3 Vipers to be able to pull those Liberators, blind the tanks, and the Ultralisk Cavern to be able to kill everything else. Now, Cure knows. He might not know about the Hive, but he can feel it. He knows if Rogue isn't fighting with Hydraling Bane, he's teching up. It's like he will just engage. The tanks weren't quite in an ideal position. Almost all of them have been taken out. The Banelings roll through. The Liberators are blasting through the Hydralisks. And there's no Ultras yet. There's no 3-3. Cure just barely will hold. But from that foothold, he'll be able to push forward, and he might be able to take out this base. Banelings are in production, but the hatchery is under fire. The liberation zones will leapfrog forward with the tanks behind. Down goes the hatch, and Rogue is trying to hold on. He has the Ultralisk Cavern completed. He does not have Chitinous Plating on the way. Another base on the right side. But the creep has been pushed back. The mineral line is vulnerable, and Rogue is mounting off 3 bases. He has energy on the Vipers, though. The Abducts can come in. Here come the Vipers, unsieged, and into the Hydralisks and Queens. It'll be just enough, or do I take it back? Another Liberator is going to go down. Most of the medevacs have fallen as well. A handful of Banelings will trickle through. Another tank under fire. It will hold for now with 12 kills. These medevacs can be taken out. Just a couple more, just one left. Rogue will tap out. Cure will pressure his way through. Rogue not able to get to the Ultras. A few missed timings there. And Cure with that strong Terran push. Rogue will be forced to tap out before he can get to the Hive Tech. It looked close, but Cure has done it. He's put the BlizzCon champion on his heels. And it's 2-1. A beautiful, like, it's really hard to judge those engagements as a Terran and as a Zerg. It's really hard to judge. Because the difference between crushing an army and him living with 2 medevacs, 2 liberators, and a tank is maybe 3 Hydras. That's how much of a difference, like 1 Baneling hit. That can make all the difference. So there, Rogue, his muscular augments were late, so he couldn't take the engagement before the 2-2. He couldn't take the engagement before Cure's 2-2 finished, and I think that would have been the timing to really bite off the head of that attack. But he didn't. So Cure was able to keep that pressure up. He went for the very heavy economy. Rogue tried to match him, and Cure comes out on top. So now the BlizzCon champion is down 2-1 to this Terran player in the top left from Korea. It is Cure. And in the bottom right, he's got 2 games to go. Rogue. And we're on Odyssey. Looks like Rogue gonna be going for a hatch first. He's back to his economic ways. Cure has always been, I guess, a gatekeeper Terran is the best way to put it. Cure is one of those players who can always take a series off of a top player. He could take a series off of Stats or Innovation or Rogue. Not most of the time, but every once in a while. And it might not always be in the biggest tournaments, but he's up there. But he just doesn't have the consistency. He always seems to be doing well, and then there will be one series, and he'll be like, what are you doing, Cure? He's been around for years. I want to say he's been around 5+ years. But he's always been that tier 1.5 Terran. He's not up there with the 4 Horsemen. He's not up there with Innovation, TY, Maru. And, well, we could have formerly considered Beyond, and we'll see if Beyond comes back into that. Or Gumiho, or those level of Terran, but he's right there. Of course, Rogue went from 0 to hero last year. He started out the year almost no results at all. He got into BlizzCon, his only choice. All he could do to get into BlizzCon. There was nothing else he could do but win Star League, I believe it was. Was it Star League? The last tournament of the year, or the Super Tournament. It might have been Super Tournament. But there was one tournament left, and the only thing Rogue could do to get to BlizzCon was win it all. And he won it all. And he had been winning for a couple months before that. And then he wins BlizzCon after having next to no WCS points for the first half of the year. So that's his story. And now Cure is here in this Base Trade TV. Shout out to them for throwing the replays. Go subscribe to Base Trade TV if you want to be able to watch these games on your own time. Or, of course, you can watch their VODs and all of that. This is from Base Trade TV. I don't know what this stands for, but EOY Base Trade Star League Group C. Yeah, that one. For those who don't know. The Overlord went straight up the middle. Will it be able to get to the high ground? The Marine came out 10, 4, and he gets them. Ooh. that little Overlord speed buff in the last patch wasn't enough. A couple seconds away. But Cure with that early win. He gets an Overlord. He forces another one. Not only will there be no Overlord and he gets supply blocked and has to build another one and use larva and minerals, he now doesn't have any vision of the front. And that's, against someone who's going for things like Hellions, very dangerous. Now the Hellions will be confirmed. A Ling will slide by. A Roachworn is on the way. A lair immediately. So what are you doing, Rogue? What's your plan? Behind this, Cure is interested in just the pressure. He's going to have Cloak on the way. The Viking will clear out the Ovies. He's going to deny vision. And this is just a pressure here. That Ling sent back to Chard. Did the Overlord get a scout on the Tech Lamb? It's almost implied when you see that many Hellions. It could be, I mean, the Viking will show up, but it could be a Banshee, it could be a Medevac, a Liberator. Literally anything could come out of that starport. And Rogue doesn't know which, but building a few queens, maybe getting a couple spores eventually, having a lair. He's covering all his bases. Alright. We do have Rogue going for the Roach speed. And he's on 50 drones here. This is a pretty big commitment to Roaches. I mean, behind this we're going to see Cyclones. 2 more factories are on the way. The armory's about to complete. So that is for the Hellbats. And what will Cure do? Will he actually move out and try to pressure a base, or will he just try to harass the drones? There is no detection here. Does he not have an Overseer? He does not. He has an Overseer somewhere. It's a little out of position. That means 3-4 drones are going to go down. Oh, that the Banshee a little bit too deep in the paint. He gets 5 and he gets out. Nice. Sneaky maneuvering there. And we actually just saw Cure use the Select All Army Hotkey because Lings were able to run by. Not get anything or really get any information. Wait, did he see it? He knows. Those have to. I'm reasonably sure he clicked on the fact. I mean, he already saw the Cyclones because they killed him. So he knows this is mech. Rogue should be taking the gold base in just a moment. As well as adding on those upgrades. Rogue, don't make me a liar. Interesting, he's going to go for the Evo chambers over here. There you go. But he knows, with what he has, you can't pressure with the Roach speed. He's finishing Roach speed, and that would be his one attempt maybe at a timing. But against someone who already has Cyclones and has potentially Banshees and the Defender's advantage, it's not worth it to just pump out Roaches and hope for the best. Alright, the Viking has actually picked up... This is only its second Overlord, but if you look at Rogue's vision, it is quite lacking. He doesn't have any Overlords on the other side of the map. He only has control of his half. So this is dangerous. The Banshee still continuing to harass. He's kind of trading it in for kills. And I mean, why not? It will bring Rogue down in drones for now. He's managed to pick off 12 between all of this. And we've got a big Hellbat Cyclone push coming in. If he can get rid... Is there a transfuse? Rogue going to lose one of his queens? Does that mean he's going to lose the 4th as well? There are some Lings tanking a lot of the damage. No upgrades on this. The Cyclones were not actually firing at the Roaches, instead at the hatchery. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get the damage done. The creep spread and the Roach speed means he should be able to take out these Cyclones. Back at home, there are already tanks. The Roaches shouldn't be committing. Wait. The Banshee continuing to work on this. The Overseer sees it. He's going to bring the hatchery dangerously low. But the Banshee should eventually be taken out. Oh. The micro at the last second has to slide around the hatch. The Queen in pursuit. The Roaches retreat. They're not going to try to push into a Terran player who almost certainly has tanks already. But now we're rushing up to Hive. Well, not really rushing, but speeding. Alright? A very quick Hive, even before 1-1 is done. This has to be for the quick Vipers. He has no other tech on the table right now. He doesn't really have a huge economy until the 20 drones he apparently just made. But just quickly into Vipers. We just got a Hydralisk down. The Lurker... The Liberator, not the Lurker, comes in. But yeah, 3 Vipers right off the bat. He's going to try to do just a battering ram style of Zerg. Pull out the tanks, blind the others, and just bash down the front door. Huge economy, low upgrades, high unit production. On the other hand, Cure is locking himself down. He's got turrets at the front. He's got supply depots, which help screw up the AI of the units. They'll start attacking the supply depots before they get in range of the tanks if he's not careful. He's got a 4th base on the way, sensor towers at the front. It looks like Cure is just buttoning up here, locking down, going for a 4th upgrade, smart servos, blue flame, and he's going towards that max out, ideally with a more cost-effective army, because he's going to have better upgrades than a Zerg player, which of course puts him in a good spot in an even supply situation. Alright. We've got some spines on the way, especially at this base. The creep spread denied a little bit. This Viking, will it pick up one more kill before it goes down? Indeed it will. It will also scout the Hydralisk, we'll say, in quotations. But the 4th base is landing. We are looking at 5 factories and a single starport. Now the question is, do you add on more starports? Do you start working towards that higher air composition? Maybe ranged Liberators? Or Ravens? Or do we continue with this strong ground mech? Looks like he's sticking with the ground mech for now. Where's your planetary Cure? There you go. Now Rogue, he's maxed out. This means, 1, he has to be teching up, and 2, he has to be spoiling for a fight. Because his army, he wants to fight, win, or at least trade, and then fight again. The tanks are steppy under the creep. They don't have +2 yet. We're at even upgrades. We've got in the back... Oh, a lot of blinding clouds. They only last a few seconds, but he gets most of the tanks. A beautiful, beautiful concave. Another blinding cloud comes out, but Cure going to be losing a lot of tanks here. I'm not entirely sure why he thought he could fight. He runs right into it. The Viper's not taken out. He goes onto the creep. I'm not entirely sure what he thought he could do with that. The Vikings will assassinate another Viper, but now Rogue is bearing down with 200 supply on just 150 of Cure. A huge misstep there. Now +2 is done. If he can stop the push, if he can consolidate his forces, he's got more tanks on the way. He's got better upgrades on him. He needs to make a stand at this planetary, ideally. Alright, he's trying to target it down. The tanks will siege on the high ground. We got Blue Flame Hellbats coming in. The SCVs, the real MVPs. Cure holding on. He's giving up a lot here. 3 tanks on the right. Not where they want to be. But there are no Vipers left. He has no direct counter to those tanks. He has to just face check into them. And those +2 tanks are doing incredible damage. 80 damage to armored units. 48 to the Hydras. 80 to the Roaches. They're 2-shotting Roaches. Just 1 tank will be enough to repel a single Cloaked Banshee with 4 HP and a goddamn dream. But Rogue, he's got the Greater Spire on the way. If he had the Greater Spire done, if he had the Corruptors, he can go for the knockout blow. But he's giving Cure time to breathe. And he's taking every second to pull in that oxygen right now to go towards the gold. He's got 3-3 on the way. He needs more starports. He's going to agree with me soon. He has to know that if Rogue is not fighting, he's teching. And the counter really has to be more Vikings. More Thors with high impact mode to target them down. But Cure is expanding himself outward. He's got the gold base. Rogue has already 5 bases going on 6. This is a high economy. A high economy game. This is not really a turtle here. We already saw Cure try to move out. A bit of a non-starter there as he got blinded. And like most blind people, not very effective against Hydralisks. 3 Thors on the way. Has he scouted the Hive? He scouted the Hive. He doesn't know about the Greater Spire, but he knows. Believe me. Hellions come by. Rogue is still at 81 drones, but you gotta keep sending these out. You gotta keep them honest. If suddenly you kill 20 drones and you take a winning fight, well, that's a ticket right there. Also, he scouts the Greater Spire as well. Rogue is starting to bank up money. If he can at least cut into that bank because mech is so cost-effective. Of course, Broodlords are as well. Cure is maxed out. 3-3 on the way for either side. But he can't be unsieged. Where are the Vipers? The Vipers are out of position. There's a lot of Vikings now. Another starport is on the way. He knows he's going to need this anti-air, but we don't... This is pre-brutes. This is a strong mech army. How much ground can he gain? He doesn't want to fight yet. He's going to wait till the creep. Rogue knows this is maxed out. It's got good upgrades. He's got Vikings in the front, so that means that very likely his Vipers will die after they cast their spells, or maybe before. Parasitic Bomb is used on 2 of the Vikings. Almost a complete waste until he just throws the Viking in with the other Vikings. Bit of a mistake there. Lands them to dodge the bombs. The Vikings are actually on the deck. He used a lot of the energy on those Vikings. He's killing his own roaches. He needs Broodlords. He actually doesn't want the he doesn't even want to throw them away. He doesn't have time for that. This base is done. It's gone. But he has plenty behind it. He's got money in the bank. But this is a strong mech Terran army. Can he mech it happen? We've got 4 Broodlords in the back. The army supply 118 to 125, with Rogue being in the lead. The Vikings are on the deck, of course, against Broodlords. That's the opposite of where they want to be. Cure will take out the 6 base, stop Rogue's economy, but here come the Roaches and the Hydras. The Vipers are at full energy. He has the Blinding Clouds. He doesn't want to siege up. The Blinding Clouds are used on a couple of the sieged up tanks. Cure retreats. 3-3 is done on this mech army. The upgrades are in favor of the Terran player. The Broodlords are raining down Broodlings from above, but is it enough to break back? It looks like it is. The Vipers and the Hydralisks have taken out the Vikings. But can the Thors fight the Broodlords? They do so much damage in high impact mode. 65 against armored. He will be forced to retreat. Air superiority goes to Rogue for now, who has 36 more Hydralisks. Will remax, but that will bring his bank down to 3,500, 1,000. Cure has taken a 6 base of his own. We've got 4 Thors, 5 Hellions. Where are your Vikings? Where are your Vikings, Cure? We're just going for the mass Thor build. A really scrappy high economy game. We're not both sitting back, turtling, infestors, broodlords, ravens, range. None of that. We're fighting it out. Cure scanning for any additional bases. Looks like we will have a Widow Mine drop as well at the 16-minute mark. Some Roaches gonna come in, try to find this tank. Maybe getting a little bit too close. Oh god. They do 85 damage a hit to those Roaches. Oh my god. 3 more Broodlords. It looks like Rogue is gonna be doubling down on this more cost-effective, air-focused army. Cure, on the other hand, is trying to draw the army out of position, I guess, and also get rid of these medevacs because they're fucking useless. The Thors and the Hellbats on either side. 3-3 is done on both sides. We're at nearly maxed out upgrades. Planetaries as well. He doesn't have the building armor or the high-sec auto-tracking, but planetaries themselves look like they might be good enough to hold. I'm not sure where these medevacs were going, if they're coming back now. But Hydralisks are making their way up. Should be able to get rid of this base. It's a bit of an awkward scenario. Neither player really knows what's happening over here. But the Hydralisks were grilled on the other side. 9 SCVs went down, which is actually probably a good thing for Cure, because he has a few too many SCVs and probably wants to make a few more command centers for orbitals now. The scans across the board make sure he can secure this base safely. And we've slowed down, as both these powerhouses have gotten such economies and such tech. If they take a bad fight, that could result immediately in a loss, because these armies are so strong when you put them together. Alright, Thor's on the left. He's trying to draw the Broods out of position and away from his new base. And Thor's, of course, with +3. 39 damage, 2 attacks, doing 78 damage per volley on these hatches. Well, minus armor. Let's not get into the minutia. But he draws the Hydras away, which means he can thrust forward with the majority of his army. We have Widow Mines with Drilling Claws. Oh my god. Is he going to boost under the Broodlords and then burrow the Widow Mines to kill the Broodlords? Oh, Cure. Oh, Cure. Oh, this could fail horribly or be the best play that we've seen all day. But he's got medevaced drilling mines. Oh, and the Broodlords are out of position. This is the opportunity. Here he goes. He's gonna drop underneath. He burrows the Widow Mines under everything. So many mines, and he takes out the Broods. Beautiful flank, and the Thors. Can they clean up the rest? He has so much. Most of the Broodlords. He's only got 5 left. Rogue loses most of his army. The Broodlords with a backbone, and it's just been sliced. The missiles from the mines connect home, and Rogue is forced to remax on Hydralisks. What a play. Cure using those medevacs to his best use. He finds a way to counter the Broodlords. Who needs Vikings when you could have Widow Mines? This base once again under fire, both figuratively and literally. But the Hydralisks come in. He still has Vipers. He still has the counter. This game is not nearly over, but Rogue's bank is almost gone. Cure is rolling in it right now. This needs to be so cost effective. He needs to take out this army and then another one. Rogue actually is binding out. His income. He's almost out of minerals on anything but his freshest base. The blinding clouds come out. Can he actually fight? A lot of Thors are going to go down. Cure dropping heavily in supply. This is a very costly army to lose. There are tanks at the back. The Vikings even hit the deck. All of the tanks will go down, and Cure will be forced to rebuild. He dips to 110 supply. He has enough army to build one more. He has enough bank to build one more round of army. It's very expensive. Rogue is broke, and he only has the mining. The gold base is gone. The third is dried up. The main and the natural are long in drought. And he's back to roaches and hydras. We're back to that back and forth. A couple Hellions come through, but Cure lost everything. Building armor and high-sec auto-track are no match from that much Roach Hydra. Cure is gonna bleed for a bit. But, oh, a beautiful 17 drones! He's down to 43. Not that he has the bases to mine from with them. 13 SCVs and 17 drones. The workers feeling the hurt on either side. Hellions going off to the north as well. But Cure, he has the bases, he has the income, he has the production. All he needs is time. Rogue, on the other hand, has an army that the longer it's out on the field not doing damage, the easier it is to counter. I mean, there are going to be Vipers coming up, but Rogue is down to 32 drones. He does not have money in the bank, and he's barely mining. Rogue, it's do or die time. He needs to either kill Cure's army and win the game, or at least kill enough bases to force him onto the back foot. More Hellions are coming in. He can't afford more drone losses. He actually won't be mining them. 7 more drones. These +3 Blue Flame Hellmats have no chill, just grill. And Rogue is to 27 drones. He doesn't even have enough drones to mine from the bases he does have. It's not... Oh, Cure, he may have done it. This needs to be the best fight. He has 2 Vipers, but there are +3 tanks. He has +2 ship weapons. Cure with those Widow Mines, he broke the back of Rogue, and now he's gonna break his spirit. Yeah, you can't. You can't fight that. There's nothing. He can't stop. Cure is back maxed out. Oh, he has to. He has to. He has no choice. But he can't. Each volley does so much. The blinding clouds, but the tank line runs deep. All the blinding clouds are expended. Rogue is being blasted apart. The mech army holds strong. And Rogue will tap out. Cure is victorious 3-1 over the Blizzcon Champion. In a beautiful demonstration of both early, mid, and late game mech. What a play. That is impressive. Like, I'm impressed. Rogue just didn't seem to have the answers. So, Cure will win. And I just picked the first series of the day from the Base Trade Star League Group C. Seemed to be a pretty good one.